So, alright, so you guys should be able to see me in that camera, right? I'm red, orange, and yellow. Everything around me should be somewhat blue or black. So, again, this is a FLIR Pro LT. So, like, we have professionals that use this on the daily. So, mechanics, firemen. I see kind of a fireman thing there. Is that a fireman department? So, you're probably already familiar with this device already. So, this is the Pro LT. It's an upgrade. I love this guy. The reason why is because it actually has a blue dot that will bounce around the screen, giving us the coldest spot in the frame at any given time. This does record video and audio, and you will get this full video back. Again, we're going to do some starts and stops with this guy, just because as great as the hardware is, the software for FLIR is horrible. If we record for too long, we lose all footage. That's why I like to do some starts and stops, just to make sure we're not going to lose it all. I'll splice it all together for you and then spit it back to you. So again, we want to try to keep somebody's skin temperature in view at all times. So whoever has this, again, Randy, it's probably going to be you. You're my quiet one. So trying to keep somebody in view is our skin temperature is going to be the warmest thing out here. If I leave the picture, that red, orange, and yellow is going to go somewhere else. Did you guys see how that kind of transitioned? Yeah. I'll do another one again. So again, so it's white, hot, black, cold is how I have this set up.
Oh, okay.
So Randy, you're going to keep this video camera on your left at all times. The red square means it's recording, which we're recording now. I'll give you the cues for the starts and stops. I think I'm going to dive right, let's go right into millimeter. Just so I can get Michelle and Randy squared away. So, millimeters, these are interesting because this is going to be measuring electromagnetic fields. So, it is said that those create a little bit of electricity, right? They can manipulate that field. We need to be able to measure that. So the top number is going to give us that number. Anything above 2.5, I want to know what's going on with that. That's your large number. The bottom number, the temperature probe has been a little touchy lately, but it will be able to measure ambient temperature in case Randy finds something on the camera. We can prove it or debunk it pretty quickly. Last but not least, it actually has a motion sensor built into it. So in the event something gets close to the antenna, it's going to go off for a minute just because I turned it on. If something gets close to it, it's going to go off. The closer it gets, obviously the higher the pitch it's going to make. So again, it's going a little bit nuts because we are kind of close to some wiring, so it's kind of making an interruption on the field. We don't always use this guy, so for now just kind of focus on what the red numbers look like.
Okay, all right.
Fair enough?
2.5.
2.5 and higher.
Okay. Can you see the difference in the colors, sir? Yeah. Right? You see that's blue and then that's red? Okay.
I see red.
All right, that's what I said. Yeah, you see the red and then you see the blue in the background.
I see other stuff there.
But you can tell
Spirit
the
boxes.
difference.
We're going to be
Between the red and
using
the other?
several
Yeah.
different types of spirit boxes tonight. So spirit boxes are a way for us to basically communicate with the dead. This one's going to sweep through FM radio stations at a very quick rate. And I have these slowed down. So on TV, this is kind of like the white noise, and then Zach Bagans tells you the BS he thinks he heard in the middle of it, right? Yeah. So this one is slowed down on purpose because I want the radio DJs, the song lyrics, and the commercials to come through. So the reason why is because you guys aren't used to listening to just white noise. With all the history and just white noise, somebody's going to fall asleep, I guarantee it. So again, with those DJs and song lyrics coming through, it's a 50-50 shot that I can tie it to the location of where we are, a person, and history I'm talking about, or even something going on with one of us. So again, we never know what's actually going to come out of these things. The cool thing is this one will record the entire session for us. The reason why I do that is because I give you the entire recording back tomorrow morning. So even if somebody has this down on mute, it is still recording at a nice even level. I don't know how it does it, but that's why we have it. And it also doesn't record any background noise. This one is going to be the one that we record with. We're going to use another one of these. But Stephanie, we're going to go with you on this one. So I'm going to give you a set of earbuds as well, so that way you can listen in a little bit more closely. So take a pack of those earbuds, and I do not want them back. Okay. So I buy them in bulk. Let's see. Ross in the house?
Yep.
You guys need to know when to stop and listen. So this is also an EMF meter. Any reading at all, of course, keep in mind, electronics are going to make this one go off.
Okay.
So when you get anything that's erratic, that's when you guys should be stopping to ask questions.
Got it. All right, thanks.
All right, same type of spirit box. And this party, who's actually interested in this one? Right on, I think I'm going to go with you on this one.
Okay.
This one will not record, so we're going to rely on you of what you hear to let us know what's actually happening with it.
Okay.
So it's going to be on the same sweep rate. We don't want to do that. So same sweep rate as hers. But again, they're not obviously linked in any way, shape, or form. So whatever you hear, you hear. Your volume button is at the very top. It's a wheel. So go ahead and take that, and then I will open this up, and you can take your own fresh set of earbuds. Again, I do not want them back.
So that's the same thing as that one. It's just not recording.
Correct. Correct. You guys get too many recordings back, you're gonna be like, man, this guy just overloaded us. This one,
It was at 2.1 a minute ago.
again, another sweeper. And this one has an open air speaker on it. So again, why I gave this to your large party is this way you guys can kind of interact with this one as well with more than one person instead of one single person listening in. So, Noah, I'm actually going to hand this one off to you for right now. Volume for this guy is right there. You just hold it gently up and it'll give you some volume. Alright. So, this is the neuralizer from Men in Black. None of you are going to remember anything.
I'll take that one.
Lasers. Oh, looks like I need new batteries in this guy. So I will definitely get new lasers, or new batteries. So exactly the demo I was going to do. So good job. You can't see the lasers until something passes through it. So we're going to have a full spectrum lighting camera on this whenever we're using the lasers to hopefully be able to capture something of when it actually passes through.
Oh.
Normally I just had a regular digital camera, but again, you literally have to take hundreds and hundreds of pictures on it. I changed it to the full spectrum camera, and you can actually see the lasers a whole lot better from that. We're going to use two different styles. We're going to use the green dots and red squares. In the event we capture something here, I can put it in 3D software and then give you guys the full 3D view of what we caught along with measurements. So I've only had 2 instances so far with this guy. I've had it less than a year, and the 3D software wouldn't take it because it was way too close to the ground. I was trying to pick up the entire spectrum of the red grid itself, so this software just would not take it. So, Brandon, these are going to go to you. You get both of them.
Don't be excited.
John, just because I'm kind of guessing that Lisa was pointing at you,
No, I wasn't. Didn't want to know.
I'm going to give you something super cool to play with anyway. You're going to get the full spectrum camera.
Well, I was skeptical.
Ooh, that's great.
So, quick demo on this guy. You guys should not be able to see me in that small screen. It should be pretty dark in there.
Yeah.
We're going to turn on some lights. So I should be in a pink purplish hue based on the full spectrum lighting that's in there. That's actually, it should be in a purple.
Yeah, it's purple.
Yeah.
So you should be able to see me now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So we're working with lights that we cannot see. Hopefully we'll find something we cannot see with our own eyes. It's also where we're going to be working with the lasers. You're basically going to be following Brandon around whenever he flashes those lights on the ground.
Yeah.
Which keep in mind, Brandon, those will get Nick arrested. We want to keep them on the ground and up to 5 feet in front of you only. And no vehicles. It will set off car alarms. I don't like to run with 9 people. It's not fun.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah, it's that strong. I've seen it done. We've done it twice on my tours. So the green one, once I put new batteries in it, you'll see how it's interesting. So it'll go off like there's somebody inside the car. So it's almost like if the car is locked and it's some kind of whatever motion detector in the more expensive cars, it'll set it off. So we're gonna do start and stops with yours as well, John. Just so you know. Lisa, you get the last type of spirit box, and yours is probably one of the most interesting. So, quick demo on this guy. This one will give us words from time to time in the center of the screen. Yes, this is a phone app. So here's what I'm going to tell you about the phone app. It's going to save all the words to a list with timestamps. So when we get something that's relevant to the location, a person, one of us, just the same as the other spirit boxes, I will highlight it in your list and tell you why and give you a backlink to show you where I got my information from. 80% of what comes out of this thing, we're all adults here, is absolute bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. This is meant to be a game and a hoax, basically. So think of it as kind of like college kids playing with this thing. So again, when I say where are we at with the list, you don't have to show me every single word. You're going to hit the little white button next to the word. Go ahead. Yep. Go ahead and tap it. It'll bring you up the entire list. You'll be able to scroll through it. I'll kind of look over your shoulder or even take the phone from you and see what we actually have that's relevant. And then you can hit the circle back button to get back to our main screen. 2 buttons. Nice and easy. All right, everybody's got something, correct? Yes, I got everybody? Wow, actually, I think I went all the way around the horn light. Wait,
You
this
did.
is a weird night for me. I didn't bounce around. That was kind of cool. So, you guys go have fun. I'll see you in 2 hours.
No, no.
So I call that all our equipment, right? We're all friends here. It's all about trust. Sure. All right, so let's talk about why we start here. Well, I guess this is also the very beginning of this is so that I can get the devices in your hands pretty quickly. Again, you're standing really close to those wires. The first location we go to, it's a very short history. It's just a good way for me to bounce around with all of you and show you more tactics based on your device. So kind of keep that in mind. Hold your questions of what you have about your device until we get there. I'll show you more about them there. So, Big John's. Of course, start here because the place is haunted. Of course it is. So, Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. Now, this was his bar. He sat in the back of the bar and he would tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough. John has the bartender throw them out. They leave pretty angry. They come back the next night and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John sees what's going on. He gets up from the bar, starts beating the hell out of these guys, just pounding them into the floor. So, a couple of gunshots go off. John gets hit in the neck and the bullet lands in the wall. John gets up after being shot and goes back to the bar, tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor, an ambulance. So, yeah, so you guys got where the gist was. Nobody died in that story either. So what's haunting the place is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. I haven't been back in since the renovations, so I'll have to see if it's actually still there. People that sit in the front of this bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, headache. That's the reason why we start here. It's a heated warning. We're going to be dealing with paranormal activity tonight, and I do not know how it's going to affect you because I don't know you personally. If any of you get any of those kinds of symptoms, I need to know immediately, so that way we can get that person to safety. I will tell you, just 2 weeks ago, I did have somebody pass out. It was the first instance I had in about a year. So I will tell you that story once we get there because it is very interesting what happened and who that person was related to the story. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. It's very weird.
Got me on my seat.
So, let's talk about something other than our own health, shall we? So, you guys, has anybody taken any kind of Charleston history tour?
No.
No.
All right, well, we had a big earthquake here in 1886. So you're going to hear about it on every tour you guys take. So this is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The mantle you see in the middle of the bar also wraps around the front of the bar. A piece of it broke off, struck somebody in the back of the head, and killed him. And they say you can see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street. Now, I don't have any proof of that story. That's why I say allegedly a lot with that story. Also, it's just a great segue, so Lisa's not thinking about getting sick on the tour. So, are you guys all ready to go ghost hunt? All right, we're going to go this way. Marianne's like, which way? Let's do it. She's on it.
Is that thing recording now or not?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. He told me to stop.
Just your voice.
Yeah.
Did you figure out where the volume is?
Yes,
Okay.
it is
Okay, cool.
14. What kind of voice?
The DJs, the song lyrics, the commercials, whatever they say, I want to know what they say.
Okay.
It's all about, I'm going to film you. It's okay, it's not recording it anyway. We're saving your film because it's limited. The thermal imaging camera is unlimited.
Oh,
So,
okay.
all right, so welcome to the Big Red Barn Live. So first off, for you folks with cameras, people do not like their cars being filmed. So when we're hitting places like this, if somebody's going to the vehicle, you're just simply going the other way. They don't know what we're doing, and we look like car thieves filming people's cars. So, I know, a big, large team of 10 stealing cars. Not obvious at all, right?
4.1.
So, what's that?
4.1.
Take it.
Okay.
That's good.
I'm supposed to yell that out, right?
Yep.
Is that right?
You can always interrupt. It's interactive.
Alright.
So, Big Red Barn Lot. This place is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. You guys can probably smell the ponies. They're right inside those windows.
Oh.
So, with that said, the history here is really simple. This is the same Red Barn Lot where we held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. So we're talking 1860s to 1920s, roughly. So, spare boxes. We have several of them out here tonight, so let's talk about those. This is not television. This is not, is somebody here? Because if somebody answers no, somebody's here. Okay, so we're just going to stay away from yes or no questions all night long. You guys are here for paranormal proof, and hopefully we're going to get it, and it's not going to be with yes or no questions. It's too easy. So, if somebody's here, tell me what color the Big Red Barn is. Obviously, you know what the answer to that question is. They're going to be looking and listening for the color red. So, most of you are using spirit boxes that are using other people's voices to convey messages, right? So, with that said, the word red might not be in there. But fire truck, blood, heart, those three things are specifically red. What color is the Big Red Barn? Blood. That makes sense to me. That's a direct answer. Most of the time tonight, I'm going to require two pieces of information to verify what's actually happening. For example, Lisa, let's say she sees the word art on the word list, and Mariana hears the number 40. Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team in 1947. That's a verification. Those are two clues that I'll always look for together. So if you have something on your list or something you heard, then like, that's good. Keep going with that. Let's get more. It's only because at that point, if it's just one, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a coincidence, right? So again, I'm also the 50-50 skeptic where I have to get all of those double clues. I want to know what's going on. We're also going to be following the evidence of what's going on with EMF readings and what's going on with, different types of spirit boxes. Are we getting full sentences out of different types? So that's how we're going to be using the spirit boxes throughout the night. So from here, I want us to we are going to stay within the confines of the slot. We're only going to be here like 5 minutes. It just gives me a few minutes to kind of bounce around with all of you real quick, see what you're hearing, make sure you're getting some kind of reading and you're getting the gist of your tools. I'm going to keep the 2 videos with me for just a moment to show them 2 tactics real quick, and then I'm going to jump over to the millimeter just so I can show you how to use that REM pod portion. Okay. So everybody else, let's spread out, keep the lasers off vehicles, and know what if you're going to get too loud with yours, just make sure you're not near the barn. Horses don't like the lasers. So we're going over to open air. Show you more tactics with yours. So what I'm looking for with this guy.
You're supposed to stay with him. Oh, it's your video.
But
You're supposed to stay close with him.
I thought it was just that video.
Huh?
I don't know. I thought it was just that video.
They actually did this little test and I was able to see the band a lot better than this video here.
I look at her. You know? A what?
Any disturbance in the light.
Laying on the parking lot.
did not want to give you the term empty. What are you with hearing things?
You tell?
So as far as asking questions,
Huh?
so these spirit boxes that everybody has, they're listening to radio stations through at a very fast rate. It's going through
Not radio stations out there in your car.
yeah, what kind of radio stations. So we're using words that are coming through in small bits. So for then the word art showed up on Lisa's digital list. That's basically a verification that somebody from Big John's team, his art care cloth was number 40, his jersey number. So again, something both related. It's not a coincidence because I see that all the time. So I'm looking for two clues to verify. So we're actually hearing things. People with the earbuds in and no one.
Oh, one of those cars just pulled in because it's super hot underneath there.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Whatever he can make
On there.
Yeah.
happens every single night. I'm out here 6 nights a week.
Okay.
Just a little bit of faith. Just a little bit.
I have
All
a
right.
lot of faith.
Well, you'll see how we get through this night. Some people are going to come up with things that I didn't tell them about, and I'll be able to verify why they heard what they did. Okay? So, and I do that on a nightly basis. So right now, you're turning into my focus. All right, Randy.
Yes, I know.
So, do you get the gist of why I want to keep somebody in view at all times?
Yeah, I see the difference.
Okay. So the cool thing about your camera is that you have a cheat sheet. You see the little bar on your right-hand side?
Yeah.
It gives you the high and low temperature in your screen at that given moment. That's not going to be in your recording. So, again, I'm looking for 15 to 30 degree differences. No lasers in the barn, you'll spook the horses. Brandon. So, did I give those lasers to the wrong person? Yep. You already dropped one and flashed a pony. So again, just try to keep somebody in view. Nice slow movements out of that guy. I'm sure you can see in here that it's fluctuating a lot because we have metal and asphalt and wood over there and trees. The blue dot will automatically default to the sky if it's in view. So, because it doesn't know what to measure. So just, if you can, some of these places that's going to be impossible, try to keep the sky out of view so that way we can actually see where the blue dot is going.
Okay.
Now, what is mine measuring? Like, I just had 7.2.
Okay. So yours is measuring, so for example, like my phone emits an electromagnetic field. So any electronic device does.
Okay.
The theory behind what your device does is that the spirit world will manipulate it when they're either nearby because they're made out of all energy, so to speak. But again, the manipulation of what it's doing is it's causing a spike. So that's what your numbers mean. Now the one that I gave over to Mr. Rouse, Eric, his only goes to 25. Yours is more accurate. I've seen yours spike out at 198 and give me an error message. And that's like a television set. Like if you were to put that behind your TV and you got a DVD player and all your cables and all that stuff behind there, it might go up to about 75 to 95. Okay, maybe that. However, when I see it go up to 200, I get a little worried. The next lot we're going to go to, I've seen a spike of 150. So again, that's what that's measuring. Let's pull up your antenna.
Oh, pull it up.
Yep, not that one. You got it. So now flip it over where I left the little flap over there. Just a little white button. Right by the left. The one closer to the edge, click it into place. Yep.
Like push down?
Yep, push it down into it.
Okay. Okay, yeah, okay. Oh.
Here's what's happening next. You've got an EMF field being generated around the antenna. Picture it like this around the antenna. Okay, so when something interrupts that EMF field, it's going to ping, and it's going to make these lights go.
Oh, okay.
So they're all different lights, like that, right? You see how they're all different?
Oh, yeah.
So they're put on a little in the middle, and then normally try to shoot for it,
Okay.
all the answers. So basically, this is detecting motion near you. However, you moving around like this is going to make it go up. There's a way to make, like, reset that EMF field to go back straight again. On the right-hand side over here, there's 4 buttons. Very bottom now, always have your thumb at the ready for that, because if you're walking around and it's going on, just click that button and then stop. See if it's actually you. That was from you.
That was for me. Okay.
Click that button.
There we go. And it's going to reset.
Exactly. And you want to constantly be clicking that button just to make sure it's on.
So why did you tell me like anything's like 2.5? I had to tell you. It's going to go like 198.
We never know.
Okay.
Well, first off, the one that I gave to Eric, his first light, other than the one that shows that it's on, is 2.5 millimeters. I have these set to the same measurements, so that way we can kind of verify what's happening.
Okay. All right. Still, so if it goes anything 2.5 or above, I still the same.
And I'm going to be writing down the numbers you've given me.
Okay.
So far you've given me 7.1.
Yeah.
Once we kind of take a break at the next stop and you guys are doing your thing, I'll be writing those numbers
Okay.
down.
All right.
So, all right, let me follow up with the rest of these and we can get everything moving. All right.
That's a whoopsie daisy.
I wanted to save it.
I'm just filming really the morning right now.
There you go. So you don't want to cross the streets either. The reason why is because if you're trying to create, and I know there's a back coast especially here, so you're literally creating two triangles up here.
I don't know when I'm supposed to tell him anything or anything at all.
Well, he talked about the degrees, the blue dot.
Yeah, well, I see the blue dot.
Like he wants like 15 to if something 15 to 20 degrees difference.
Which is what? Oh, I mean, I see 100 and some number up there changing, but...
Well, if you don't understand.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see between the 80 and the 90. I see a number.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's only he's interested in like 20 to 30 degree difference, though.
I mean, it's close to 20 now. Hmm. Between the top and the bottom.
Wouldn't that be weird? What if you couldn't What if we all get run over at the same time? I think that's a load. Or
We're on the street.
Oh, that matters.
Probably from our first few years, electrical wiring.
Really?
Yep.
All right. So kind of out more. Oh, all right. You gotta hold that up, Dave.
Well, we're just walking on the street. Parking lot. So this thing, what am I looking for? The difference between this number and this number, or between the number there and the blue dot?
So I left the center crosshairs on there, so just in the event you want to measure something directly, you can just move the camera. But a lot of times in real time, I'm watching this guy to see if there's a big variation.
Like 30 and bigger, or
I would say even 20 to 25 and bigger.
okay.
So again, that way I can like stop and freeze frame the video and kind of see like what's going on.
So
when
if
I'm
I see
watching
that, what do I do?
it. You want to keep filming, obviously, but also say something verbally so that way I can catch it when I'm watching the video.
Okay.
All right, so gather around, come on over. All right, so Whereas Noah, we definitely want to keep your spirit box down here. Let's turn off that REM pod portion. So definitely hit the little white button in the back just so I'm not getting distracted as I give you guys the history. So welcome to another beautiful side of Charleston, everybody. Another parking lot.
There we go.
So if you guys don't know where to park, by the way, by the time I'm done with you, I can't help you. I'm sorry. So I know, plenty of spaces. So what is this place? This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. So their mansion actually sat in the front of this lot facing East Bay. Eliza's garden was lined up with that silver truck over there and came all the way across. And we are standing where the slave and servant quarters would have been for the home. So Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Charleses. You guys see why I look for double clues? I need to know who the hell we're talking to. So the son and the nephew, signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. This is a big deal for us. However, you guys are all on vacation and looking to have fun, and I don't want to talk about politics either. So let's talk about Eliza. But first and foremost, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to be giving you questions here like what color is George Washington's white horse. So we're going to be giving you questions that are going to give you the answers through your spirit box. Before we leave here, I will give you whatever is left over. So kind of keep that in mind. We're going to be talking about Eliza Pinckney. So that's this young lady right here. So kind of keep that in mind. Who the heck was she? She married Charles at a young age. So when I say young, Charles was over double her age. So that kind of gives you an idea of the relationship between them. Yes, it was out of love. It was not out of any kind of arranged marriage. But being over double her age, there's a big age gap. So you can obviously ask how old they were when they got married. So she married him because her father over in England thought he was dying and he wanted to see all of his kids one last time. She didn't think he was dying, so she got married. This is the 1740s. There's no green cards, no citizenship. It wasn't there yet, right? So she did marry him out of love, and she was right. Dad got better. So as an apology, he starts sending her gifts over from England over to this location. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. So indigo is a plant that makes blue dye. We use it in blue jeans today. So I don't see anybody with blue jeans on. Oh, yep, Randy's got it. All right, good example, Randy. Good job. You're the only one. So that's how we still use it, and it started right here in her garden, which is why I pointed it out. The interesting thing about indigo is she had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated in our weird temperatures. It's not always warm down here. In fact, January, February, it's just downright cold, and that's coming from a northerner. So it does get cold down here. So once she had it all figured out, she moved it to a plantation in Mount Pleasant. That's Snee Farm, for those of you that know the Mount Pleasant area. And then she called her dad up, not literally because it's the 1750s. And he says, the rice plantations are going downhill. We need to figure out how we can get this indigo overseas. Can you give me some contacts? He does. She starts selling this stuff overseas, internationally, in colonial times, as a businesswoman, which is something absolutely unheard of during this time frame. So I'm just giving you the skinny on what this woman's done. Let's get into the weird stuff about her, right? Because that's what you guys are here for. So the questions you can ask, obviously the marriage, big age gap. What happened to the mansion? It's not here anymore. What the hell happened to it? When did that happen? Try to get those answers out of her. Ask anything you want to about Eliza's death. She's pretty open about all of it. Eliza, how old were you when you died? What did you die from? Where are you buried? And what U.S. president was a pallbearer at your funeral? Looking at the age group here, I don't think I have to explain what a pallbearer is. It's going to be really nice tonight. Thanks. So, you'd be surprised. You chuckle. But with that said, the kids, I gave you at least one of them. There was more than one. His name was Charles, the one I gave you. So maybe ask how many there were and get their names and leave it alone. The reason why I say that, there's a tragedy among those children that she will stop all activity if we poke the bear too much. So don't poke the bear. Let's not ruin the tour for everybody. So get those basic things out of it. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. Kind of a jerk move on Chuck's part, right? So both Elizas, I know, I'm talking about this historical figures with all this slang. But with that said, both Elizas go by their maiden name, which ironically both start with the letter L. See if you can see which Eliza we're talking to. So far we're working with 3 Charleses and 2 Elizas. So I know, very weird stuff about what goes on in here. If you're going to go rogue with your questions on your spirit boxes, make sure it's stuff that I can prove. Names, dates, not feelings and favorites. Those are things that I don't know nor can I prove. So again, have fun with this. Stay away from vehicles in between. We actually made one of the patrons in here angry the other night. I had a lady on like canes and she needed to lean back for a minute and the guy comes flying around the corner. pretty angry. So again, stay away from vehicles if we can. No filming of vehicles. We're gonna get readings. I'll be bouncing around with all of you, and I'll be taking some notes, especially out of Noah's machine. Michelle?
Michelle, yes.
Got it. Look at me go. Michelle's machine, because it obviously doesn't record anything. And Eric, you gotten anything out of yours yet? Yes, you have. You're at 20 already. So that's a good sign. But again, I haven't shown, like, I never brought the tablet before, so that's kind of new for a visual for you guys. So you guys are another experiment. I'm always upgrading and wanting to improve your experience. So at least now you know exactly what she looks like. So spread out, have fun. John, I know, yawns already. Start your video. Let's get some of these lasers recorded. Again, please watch me. The folks with the spirit boxes. There are 4 of them in use. You got it. Lisa, that's you. Hopefully it's with your green one. Keep the green one on. The tip will spin. You want to try to keep as many dots as possible. Just because that gives bigger opportunity to be able to catch it on video. When they're real tight like that, they're
$22.
Oh my god. Okay.
24, 25.
You got anything?
I don't know. 25 is the biggest number I've seen so far.
Oh, really?
I can't read the numbers from walking. I gotta do it.
6.5, 4.0, 6.9. I mean, I was excited for these numbers, and then he said it goes all the way up to...
You'll get something really big. 25. They say I have to do it standing still, though I can't read it while I'm walking.
it's not stuff we learned from the tourism. So all like this weird shit I give you guys is all stuff that I learned from them. So as we kind of go through like who the kids were and that kind of thing, you'll see like it's not stuff that like that they're telling me. Like I'm not a licensed guy for this thing. Right. So like what I do out here is
30
all stuff
30
that I
difference.
research on my own based on what's coming up out of the evidence.
Before the night's over, we're gonna find out what the track
I'm going to tell you what happened before we leave here, so that way it stays in your memory. I'm not going to tell you at the end of the night. Okay. He's like, oh wait, I'm supposed to catch up.
Well, we're going to a bunch of different sites.
$25 or so.
Yeah, I got two.
Yeah, it's floating around 25.
doesn't change this nice I have.
You're not supposed to get the sky in. You think it's hard to get this, not get the sky in
Oh,
because
yeah.
you know the point there a little bit gets the sky. It's like because when you get the sky, it can't read it or whatever. Little blue dots down to in the 70s. That's kind of low.
asking questions.
I'm
Keep talking.
This ground's a little hard to walk on.
Do what?
Ground's a little hard to walk on.
Yeah, we did. My back hurts.
That's why I lean against the wall right here.
I had 29.
give you markers of things that I heard. Okay. So that way you guys can kind of train your own ear. Even if it's not relevant, I'm still going to give it to you. So, yeah, you might have, out of the 15 things I find, maybe 3 to 5 things are relevant. And again, in every 5 things,
Oh, 22, 24, 31,
Yeah, we are about to
32,
Yeah.
we can both try to find it.
43.
Oh,
It's all the way up.
all the way
I know that your buds are cheap. So
Wow.
not the highest volume.
43 and 32.
windshields are the coldest thing around.
Yep. Usually are. And it doesn't see through glass, which ironically, when I bought it, that was the reason why I wanted it.
Yeah.
Because there was a place I used to go on the tour where it was about somebody that hung himself and used to be able to see like the shadow
Yeah.
of the swinging corpse, and I wanted to be able to catch that. We were able to catch some of the colder spots, but I don't go there anymore. You guys will learn why about that later on. With this, you can also, now that you're using
Okay.
how to, this red piece of it,
Yeah.
the motion part, you can actually use this metal stick as kind of a call and answer. If somebody's here, make it go to blue or purple. That way it's in the middle,
Okay.
okay? Because if you notice, there's
Yeah.
blue and
So,
purple there in the
okay,
center.
so, all right, so you asked me before if it was going off. Let's move maybe forward.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's gone off several times. Like, I've just been going like this. I haven't had my hand next to it.
Right.
Does that
But
mean
again,
anything?
the jostling of it
The jostling does it.
is
Okay.
going to make it go off too.
Okay.
The trick is to try to be as still as possible.
Okay.
This device is
Got
meant
it.
to be like on a table or set by itself.
Okay.
I have the field around the antenna as small as it'll go.
Okay.
If I widen it up, every bug that passes by, it's going to give you a false
go off
positive.
of it. Okay,
So
so,
that's why I have
then
it-
I was correct that it really hasn't gone off.
But
then.
again,
It's-
you
it's,
can-
it's never gone off like when I've been standing still like this.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can ask for it. If
can.
Eliza's here, I
Okay.
usually say the middle ones, blue or purple,
Okay.
because obviously if you say get as close as you can, it's going to go to red.
Okay.
Right? But blue or purple, that's a little bit more proof that they're only coming so
Right.
far because they know the
Okay.
colors. You have to remember, I'm here 6 nights a week. We're asking them the
Okay.
same questions.
Okay.
They know how these boxes work.
Okay. All right.
But
Cool.
use words that they would know.
Okay. All right.
Mariana, what do you got? Oh, she's at 20 grand 10.
Eliza, I want to see blue or purple. Blue or purple, Eliza.
All right. I'm going to call everybody over to the 365 wall and get you guys some answers. 26K. What? James has something that comes up with my $15. So with the stable service, I think you're ready to
Look at that place up there. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, big TV up there and outdoor bar.
again. Like I
Oh,
said, like
bar.
you're walking over here, you're standing back there by the stable service. You're probably wearing heat, especially since it's together. I just can't prove it. So take it for what it's worth. All right, so
They fell home to a stop.
There's the outgo.
So that's pretty hot. I told her, like, I've seen it go up into the hundreds here, but one of the other things that we heard or seen was the word match on the digital spirit box word list. The mansion did burn down. This was the mansion after the burning. So again, this is the only picture we have of the mansion. We don't have pictures before. Yes, it was after the fire. So Randy's trying to see that there. That's a photo. It's actually so. It's probably, this is a photo. It's been, yeah. But again, this was 1861, so I don't know when this picture was taken. So that's a good question. So again, this is the first time I've used a tablet to actually show you guys the visuals. So this is where we're standing right now. So the interest with what happened with this fire, and every tour guide is going to tell you about a great fire of whatever year it happened in. This one started up where the Harris Teeter grocery store is, and it actually came down East Bay Street and then hit the mansion and then literally went to the other side of the peninsula. Like, this was a giant fire, huge. So again, devastating to the family. This was about 70 years after Eliza's death. So let's go straight into that. Eliza was 70 years old when she died in 1793. She died from breast cancer. So none of you gave me any of, I know. We don't,
I just had cancer come up on my thing right
Yeah,
when
it
we
literally
walked
just
away.
when I walked up, it said cancer. I literally said, "Oh, cancer."
These are the things I'm talking about.
Well, it just-
randomly
yeah.
come up. Yeah, but still, we're still standing here,
Yeah,
so the answers
you're
can
right.
still come through. So, with that said, we didn't know what breast cancer was in 1793. We're going based off of her medical records. So 9 out of 10 credible websites, and yes, I do a lot of research, will tell you it was indeed breast cancer. This was in Philadelphia. She was up there trying to get treatments for whatever she thought she had. That's where she died. That's also where she's buried. So if that doesn't tell you why we don't go to actual cemeteries, cemeteries aren't usually haunted. Just because there's dead bodies there doesn't mean you're going to hang out where you're buried. You're going to go to your beautiful mansion in Charleston 400 miles away. So take that for what it's worth. As far as the president goes, any history buffs here that actually want to take a guess on who the president was as far as the pallbearer, now that you know the year, 1793?
The third one. No, this.
Mystery Major.
Pilot?
Jefferson.
Washington.
I was gonna say Washington.
Oh, the first one.
That was the first one I thought of.
So, there's George number 1. We're going to be dealing with 3 different Georges. So that's another reason why I always need secondary clues. So, and yes, George Washington took her to her grave at his own request. So it was an honor for him to do so, as it would have been if she would have known actually what was happening. So
we know her personally.
the Pinckneys were a very political family, lots of governors. He knew his governors pretty well because there was only 13 of them. So take that for what it's worth. The time that actually he spent here in Charleston, you're going to hear about Washington spent, I think it was a good 2 weeks here, close to like 12 or 14 days. The Pinckneys hosted most of his meals. We'll just put it like that. So Washington was a pretty big deal to the Pinckneys. Let's get into the kids. There were 4 of them. We did hear the word brother. However, David was not one of them. I don't know who David is. So she heard the name David as well, but David's not
We
relevant.
did hear David?
Yeah.
So, there were 4 kids. Charles, I told you about, signer of the Constitution. Then there was Thomas. He actually fought in the Battle of Camden. That's a Revolutionary War battle. The significant thing that comes up about him here, he was shot in the Battle of Camden in his left leg by a musket ball, which shattered his leg, left him on a cane the rest of his days. So I'll get leg, ball. I've had the word musket here before. Very interesting what shows up around Thomas. Then there was baby George. George's death certificate has the same month and year as his birth. So we don't know if George was days or weeks old. There's also no grave for this child. So kind of different times. I don't judge. I don't know exactly what happened, but it could have possibly have been an old ritual where they actually mummify the baby and then bury the baby with the mother. So yes, they would have transferred that baby all the way back to Philadelphia to be buried with mom. It is a possibility based on their religion. That is something actually I learned from a guest last night that I'm further researching. So we'll see what actually comes out of that. Then there was one daughter, Harriet. Harriet actually lived, she married in Horry. Where's my Myrtle Beach folks? Who
Right here.
So Myrtle Beach is in Horry County, 2.5 hours from here. So wouldn't have been a 2.5 hour car ride. They didn't have cars. Lots of letter writing back and forth. Words like paper, pen, ink, published. Because yes, all of those letters were published in one volume. So it's a very interesting book when you start reading about the life that they led back and forth. So,
Log is on there?
log.
Log.
Like Captain's Log?
No, blog.
Oh, blog.
Blog.
She doesn't know what a blog is.
Well, I know, but we
Yeah, I heard websites.
Eliza, the second Eliza, her maiden name was Lucas. Keep that in the back of your head for a second. Eliza married, her son George was named after her father. So what's her father's name?
George.
George what?
Second.
George what?
I mean, George's.
George Lucas. For you. Sorry guys, I'm a movie buff. I have to remember this stuff. So there's your three Georges: the father, the son, and the president. And yes, the word first will come up a lot when we have George the president. Let's see what else. The first wife, her maiden name was Lamb, so sometimes that'll pop up from time to time. Doesn't always. It's not very often, but it does occur from time to time. I think I about covered all. Oh, she was 22 when she married Charles, who was 45. So again, not horrible. Most people start thinking like 12 and 24.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
13, 14. Yeah.
I got little kids on this tour, guys. I don't want to scare any kids. I had an 11-year-old on the tour last night. Like, I'm going to tell her that with her mother standing right there. Yeah, then she got married real young. She was your age. And she had a bunch of kids. And, you know.
Start happening, Maria.
I know, right? The other significant thing. What's that?
22 is kind of cool.
It is. But you have to remember, she's not from here. She was from England. She's a very proper English woman. Yeah, different.
Kind of different time.
Right. Different cultures will actually have the different. I mean, yeah, 22 would have been considered an old maid. So, what else?
Oh,
what
I'm
else?
really old.
There are ancient, some might
I
say.
feel it right now.
I think that about covers all the questions. Did you guys go anything rogue? Did you ask any questions on your own that I might be able to answer for you? Nope, nothing? All right. So what's going to happen from here, we're going to go up to Lodge Alley. So lasers, definitely a no-go on East Bay Street. You're out of the game. Videos, you can stop both of your videos at this point. You already, yeah, you haven't stopped yours yet. You can stop them, kind of give your hands a rest until we get to Lodge Alley. So just tap that orange square, Randy. Alright, so the reason why I asked for names along the way here is because this was one of the first streets. People used to actually live here. These two giant buildings weren't here. So there was little tiny shotgun houses, and I have the full list of residents of every single person that used to live down here. The two common names that will come up are Benjamin and John. They both lived here in 1801. I don't have much further detail on them other than the fact that they show up every 6 to 7 weeks on different spirit boxes in the same night. Now, you would think that John is pretty common, but when I have Benjamin that goes along with it, that's 2 out of 5 people that lived here in 1801. Again, not many people lived here, at any one given time. They did do an archaeological dig underneath these cobblestones. They were able to classify these people as lower class people. Makes complete sense because the other part of the Charlestown Wall was on the other side of East Bay Street, across from where we were walking. So the smell of low tide would have been coming through here. You already mentioned something about the smell, that it's pretty dank down here.
Yeah.
So the smell of low tide would be coming down here all the time. Now, if you notice the houses down at the Battery, if you've been down there, that they are angled at a certain way to not get the smell off of low tide and actually be able to cool off the houses before we had air conditioning. It was not the case down here. Shotgun houses were literally 1 to 2 room houses. So you could shoot a shotgun in the front door, it'll go out the back door if you're unsure what that is. So don't think this age group, I had to explain that, so my apologies.
Never heard it before, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that was a thing in Ohio, I learned. But anyway, the other reason why this is called Lodge Alley is because this is where the Freemasons had their Masonic Lodge. So again, it makes complete sense that we'll see the word Mason, we'll see Freemason, Illuminati, we'll see clay, brick. Yeah, I've gotten Illuminati down here a couple of times. It's kind of like made me chuckle a little bit. Even when I seen it, I'm like, really? It took 2 years for it to come up that way?
Yeah.
Because that's been pretty recent. But again, very interesting alley. I'll have to see if the name Tony, if there is going to be a Tony, it's probably going to be an Anthony, to be quite honest with you. So we'll kind of see if that pops up. Excuse us, folks.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Is this a ghost tour?
It's a ghost hunting tour.
Okay.
I saw one. It's like down there and make a left.
Yeah, there's
right,
like
and then-
15 ghost tours up there, which is, yeah, that's how that works.
Which is like, run.
So, what's going to happen from here, we are going to go through the rest of this alley. So when we get there, we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood because we're literally on the edge of where I'm allowed to take you. So again, we can't go left. I'll get a ticket. We're going to go right, and we're going to learn about Philadelphia Alley, and then we're going to go deep dive into a female pirate over at the Powder Magazine. But the story at Philadelphia Alley is always interesting because a lot of stuff comes up around that alley as well. So we'll kind of see. That's a dueling story. So if you get into duels, this one's pretty interesting. But the female pirate one is usually the one that gets everybody going because that is a whopper of a story if you're into pirates. And it's weird because it all started right here with that young lady's story. So let's see what we can get along the rest of the way and see what we can capture. Lasers are definitely still out of the game, just so you know. Brandon, you're right next to me. I'm screaming at me.
Yeah, don't. All right, I hear you.
Like a bad dad.
Do you still have yours off? Did you turn it back on?
I'll turn it back on.
Oh, did you?
That's cool.
Really can come to the side first because I gotta get the place next door. If the cameras want to go to the front, they can, but all the others would like to stop there. So that's why I like to come to the side a little bit. So I brought us all the way over here so that way Lisa has a place to sit down. I'm sure her knees are bugging her, right? Is that what's going on? A knee problem?
Hip, but yeah, same thing. That's all the like.
Lisa, I got you a seat.
It's all connected.
She's been a trooper though. She hasn't said a peep.
She hikes, so I mean,
Yeah, she hikes with it.
takes a minute, but she'll do it.
I brought you to the wall so you can have a seat. Kind of take a load off a little bit. All right, so welcome to the Powder Magazine. So this is a very interesting spot. Yeah, so it held gunpowder for 7 different wars. So there's another number 7 for you. There's actually another number 7, but I'll point that out. The mistress is her mom. With me so far? Good. The 3 of them are getting away from his wife. Yeah. How scorned was she in 1708 that she got to move halfway across the world? Just saying. So they land in the Georgetown area, just north of here. So it's about an hour and a half. So dad buys a plantation in that area, probably a rice planter. Mom dies pretty quickly after getting here, so he starts sending the young daughter to Charlestown to start selling whatever they have from the plantation and whatever other wares they have so they can continue life. So the building is familiar. That's why we're here. Anne is said to be seen all over town, but we're here because of the same time period. Hopefully it's going to trigger a few things for her to keep coming back. Now, as she comes down here, well, let's kind of talk about her childhood for a second in Ireland. She was kind of a badass. There was a word you know about her. This is normally where it dies on purpose. So I don't play it off the screen. So you can go to the front of the building if you want. Let's try to get some footage there. Just make sure your camera's on the left-hand side, Randy. I know you're holding it up that way. That's not going to make us a very good video. It needs to be on your left.
Left
Hold it sideways.
Oh, this way?
Yeah.
Yep, you got it now.
Yeah.
So just don't interrupt the other tours. You can use lasers in here. Same rules apply. No vehicles. Other tours love to stop and talk to you here. Like, what the hell are you doing? I don't care what you tell them. But I'm going to probably know later on based on video and audio. So, again, it happens all the time. A lot of tours like to see what I'm up to because I'm a lot different out here. So we're going to have some fun. We will spend a good 10-15 minutes here based on the amount of activity. The fact that you're getting anything, I'm going to guess it's from your phone because this is normally a dead zone. Same with yours, Michelle. You get anything out of here, I want to know because that usually means something else is going on. This is not the Pinckney Mansion site. Do you guys want to see a quick picture of what Anne looked like to kind of get that spot in your brain?
Yes.
All right.
What were the two questions? The name of the ship
The name of
the
Anne,
And then for parents.
the name
And
of
her
Anne
parents.
Bonny's parents,
Bonnie.
and the name of Calico Jack's ship. So this is what the depiction of Anne Bonny that I could find that wasn't revealing. Because normally she would bare her breasts to whoever she killed to show that they were just killed by a woman. Like, she was pretty badass.
So Eliza and her were both pretty badass.
Oh, yeah.
But
You ought to
Eliza
see me
was
during
a-
Women's History
Eli-
Month.
I was
Like,
gonna
I pride
say,
myself on
Eliza
Women's History
doing
Month.
what she was doing, selling that stuff back in 1740. She was a badass.
Related to the judge?
No. You know what's interesting is just on the other side of this building, there is what we call the Nicholas Trott House. It is the first Chief Justice in the United States. The reason why we named it the Nicholas Trott House is the claim is that he lived there. I call BS. I do a lot of research. So, the Dock Street Theater. I'm sure if you've been in Charleston for more than a day, you looked up haunted locations, Dock Street Theater popped up. It has a shit ton of history. Pardon my French. It has a ton of history. That's the plat of land where that Chief Justice actually lived. This location on the other side is actually where he stayed while he was waiting for that plat of land to be prepared for him. But because the Dock Street Theater has its own history, they named this the Nicholas Trott House.
Oh.
So, the other number 7 that comes up here, obviously the wars for the Powder Magazine, so I need that secondary clue. Also, there's 2 different sides to St. Philip's Cemetery. The eastern side, which is over across the street, is for native Charlestonians only. This side is for everybody else. History buffs, your 7th Vice President, John Calhoun, is buried on this side, on the other side of that ivy wall. The number 7 and John will come up here from time to time as well. So that way I know where the 7 is supposed to go. That damn number 7 shows up for everybody. So again, you have to imagine how frazzling this is when I'm trying to put all these clues together for you guys. Like, what the heck's going on? So that number 7 shows up a lot. So let me know what you guys are hearing out of your boxes. Definitely do a round robin with your cameras. We're going to get you another battery to get some footage. You can stay put if you'd like, Lisa, and just kind of see what comes up out of your spirit box.
And I don't know what I
Who
did.
came up with spirit?
I got that right.
Did you get spirit too?
I got it like that.
Interesting. And that's the white button in the back. Nope.
Is bothering you
You guys
too?
should all the way in.
Well,
You know what the 7 wars were?
They're on the blog post that I wrote about this.
Okay.
The one I remember the most is the Civil War.
Yeah.
That's everything else was like other smaller wars.
I was just like, that's what I'm trying to think.
They're all small. A lot of them dealt with
built in early 1700s.
take the picture, so I'm just gonna pop it.
So, all town had walls around, so it was like a fort.
Pretty much. It was fortified. Yeah. And they had. No, you're right. You can actually see parts of those walls. Oh, if you go to the old exchange in Provo station, down in the basement, there's part of the wall that's still in the basement that you can actually see. It's pretty interesting stuff. And if you go even further down, like just walk down, you can actually see they have a piece of the wall. there's actually a great documentary on all of the pirates from the Gold Age. It's on Netflix. It's called The Lost King, and it has a lot of tours and everything. It's Steve Bonnet's Stay Away Rent is actually very great history. This cemetery right here, you can go touch it in the street. Yeah, the guy fought Steve Bonnet and then sent him over to the spot. So yeah, there's a lot of pirates. There's actually just pirate tours. They'll dress up and they know the whole
I thought I saw girls there.
Oh, yeah, there's that much pirates.
I got Liberty.
Okay. Alright, yeah, definitely keep going. This is either super dead or super active. Never know it's usually the last hurrah, but
Ready?
yep, light it up. And if you guys go to the front lawn, you can put your lasers in the front lawn, just don't go above the building because you'll be in somebody's living room. So it's the only thing. Let me take a look at your list. Okay. You got the word sex? That was just
Yeah.
sex.
You want to walk around front?
Sure. Yeah.
I got nothing here. I think I'm right under wires here.
No.
It's not gonna get this good.
Still on a full moon week, by the way. So
Yeah.
It's actually been a
I got some things out of the spirit boxes, you said. Oops. Oops.
It's funny, like over here, it wasn't like a
birthday it is.
Alright.
Trying to rein everybody in. Randy, you could probably carry